quite right. Do seek my counsel. I highly recommend it. As am I. A prince should die of old age or on the battlefield. Anything else could be construed as weakness of character. That said, I've the distinct feeling I wasn't meant to die today, for despite your heroics, I was still cast into the water. I sank. I drowned. But there was something in the water. A voice made of air that soothed my flooding lungs. There was sudden light, warmth, life. Truly, how intriguing. To hear a voice whilst drowning is a rather specific delusion to share, is it not? Still, I wonder if...
He hesitates.
Are you a religious person? I'm rather relieved to hear it. Religious persons tend to be all too self-important in their supposed humility. As for myself, I perform the ancient rites of prayer and ceremony with a kind of languid indulgence. After all, when one is revered by many as a living god oneself, public deprecation would be needlessly self-important as well, wouldn't you say? There was a small incident which prompted my many rivals to move against me. Technically, they had the letter of the law on their side. Such a nuisance, the law. Quite necessary to keep the common in line, of course, but one such as myself it should exempt as a matter of course. By the rabble and for the rabble, you're one of those, are you? Remember that by the rabble and for the rabble, sorcerers are being exiled to hell pits like these. We'll see if you'll still trumpet the virtues of law when its executors turn to us with malicious intent. I hardly know you as yet. Let's leave some mystery in the relationship, shall we? We can exchange criminal records later. I intend to rule an empire one day, not a tiny outcropping in the sea, lording over gulls and guppy fish. To that end, I suggest we focus on the obvious. A farewell to Fort Joy and a hello to the mainland. Of course, I'd much appreciate it if we managed to find a dreamer first. Dozens, I should imagine, but if we're talking about the ones that came after my exile, this would be number 5. Let them come, I say. Keeps one sharp. There isn't much to say, but for the fact that I simply must. It's the portent of it all. I can feel it. The revelation will be world-changing. I just know it. And justified it is too. You will be a witness to wonders, I assure you. As certain as the sun, such is my conviction. I will be, then grow beyond being.
Not drawing many winning cards of late, but I won't be crying over it. Sailed away from my last island prison scot-free. No reason I can't do it again. I'm no people person, but I've had a run-in or two with magisters before, and let me tell you, most of them couldn't pour water out of a boot. One way or another we'll slip past them. Just keep your head to the ground. You'll get more than an earful of dirt, I promise. Well, it's complicated. Where to even begin? They're gorillas.
Beast chuckles as your forehead crinkles in confusion.
You know, as in guerrilla warfare? Oh boy, I thought you had a funny bone in you, but I swear some witch doctor's gone and yanked it out. Good women, good men. Still fighting the good fight too, though most of them fled to the hinterlands. The wave dancer's crew's probably gone to join him. No offense to you, but I missed him. Still, it's probably best I don't subject him to all this. Power, plain and simple. It's like this. Some people, when they get a taste of something delicious, they want more and more of it. Like fried sea bass. Once you start, you can't stop slurping. Justinia got a taste of that power the first time she threw a mouthy jester into the dungeon at the urging of her advisor, just because he pointed out her, rotundness. That's a word, right? That's where it started. And it still ain't finished. Sure enough. Amazing how quick things change, too. When I was a lad, Laura would invite lizard dignitaries. elven seers, folk like that. Big fish from other ponds. Now, a lizard don't dare step foot in the kingdom, lest some sword-loving royalist scrape off his scales. Can't stand those types. But I don't blame them. Some folk, they've got the short end of the stick. They've got lots of anger in their hearts, and when your queen tells you who you're supposed to hate, well, that's who you hate. Shite like that, that's why I did the noble thing. I fought it. You shouldn't have to fear your own queen, and you shouldn't have to fear some bogeyman just 'cause that queen's needing a scapegoat. Aye, this is a good one. Now, close your eyes and let it wash over you. The beast of the sea is skippering his beloved ship, the Wave Dancer, heading to Reaper's Coast. His target's there, you see. A notorious criminal kingpin called Lohar. The sails are full and the crew's in right spirits, barking shanties like a chorus of seals. Tell my mates I sailed the straits, and soon will dock in the Echo's Hall. Ain't to last, though. Magister ships surround the Wave Dancer like sharks circling their prey. The brave rebels are on the ropes until the legendary beast boards the Magister flagship and summons a cyclone the likes of which no man or woman has seen. Rain and wind, void-woken everywhere, and our hero beast, the valiant, selfless beast, surrenders himself to the Magisters so the Wave Dancer may escape amid the rising chaos. What bravery! What sacrifice! Ah, what bollocks. I ain't no hero. Besides, you know how the rest goes. Hell, you're helping to write it. The Magisters haul me off, and soon enough, I'm heading to Fort Joy. Collared, like the beast I am. Ah, you're making me blush. Truth is, a captain's only as good as his crew, but we all share a common goal. Freedom. The dwarven people, we've been through a lot. We deserve it. So, how'd they get you? Reckon that's the case for all us sorry souls who find ourselves on this flea-bitten island. As for me...
He runs a hand slowly down the plaits of his beard, smiling sumptuously.
I don't plan to spend a moment longer here than is strictly necessary. As far as I can tell, he's doing the Queen's dirty work. Based on that letter, their plan was this. Lohar and his people sink a Magister ship, the Peacemaker. They transfer its cargo to the Victory, and then the Victory sails off to Duna knows where. No telling what the cargo is, but it means trouble.
He winks.
And not the good kind.
I'd say we're making good progress already, no? Well, I've got a contract to complete. After that, getting the hell out of Fort Misery seems the best option. I figure we track down my inside man, and then we take it from there.
He freezes and shoots you a wary glance, looking for all the world like a wild animal caught in the lantern light of a racing carriage.
Well, why not? Go ahead.
Ifan begins counting on his fingers and muttering to himself. This goes on for quite some time.
43, give or take.
Ifan nods ruefully and barks a laugh.
It's not a competition. It's my job. What else do you want to know? That I did. In Lucian's own army. Yeah. Stay out of their way. From the rank and file to the top brass, they're as ruthless as the wildest lone wolf. But the difference? A wolf never tries to hide what he truly is. There's a reason I don't wear Order garb anymore. But I don't like to talk about those days. Thanks for understanding. Now, let's keep moving.
The old dog looks up at you but doesn't lift his greying head from his paws. He heaves a heavy sigh.
I'm Buddy. It's no use anyway.
The dog tentatively sniffs the offering, then grabs it between its teeth and swallows it.
You're nice. Emmy would have loved you. She was my mate for the last 7, carry the 2, plus 50. 5 years! The Magisters, they took her. I love you. Say, let me show you something.
By the Queen's beard, it looks like you lost a fight with a claw hammer. Reckon you're in need of something to heal yourself up, eh?
Instead of a potion, she hands you an empty bottle and a fat brown mushroom.
Not scared of a little elbow grease, are you? A fella ought to know how to put himself right. Go ahead and combine the mushroom with the vial. Once you've mastered the technique, you'll never need help from a crusty old quack like me again. Business savvy? Don't be profane. This is people's health we're talking about. And I get by just fine in the meantime, thank you kindly. Dane's as stubborn as an old steer. Says he don't believe in alchemy and won't accept a potion from me or anyone else. But Jackanapes would rather die than drink something that ain't at least 30 proof. Still, my job ain't to judge, but to heal. Or if that fails, to comfort. Seems that's all I can do for old Dane anymore.
Out my face, or I'll punch your lights out. Those bleeding fools think they run the place, but I showed them. Only so much a man can stand before he won't stand it. You think you're so fancy with your flashy abracadadoodle, don't you? Fat, who needs you? I caught a blow too many from those card-playing fatheads up on the ramparts. I got myself a golden ticket. I didn't even get the chance to use it. Why don't you take it? If they offer you a round of cards, this one guarantees you a win. It's called the Sparkler. Whoever's got it gets the pot. Filched it from that hog Griff himself. Careful though. If you ain't as skilled a fighter as me, you'll end up on Dr. Lest's table with the rest of the lilies.
Just as you're about to address the lizard, the Red Prince bars you with an outstretched arm.
This man is a dreamer. As you know, I need a word with him. You may wait here while I speak. Permission indeed.
He bids the dreamer stand up and pay attention, which he does in a grovelling and awkward manner. The dreamer then chews and swallows a handful of Drudenay leaves before slipping into a trance-like state. He falls asleep. To your surprise, the Red Prince lies down and follows suit. After about half an hour, they wake up and begin to discuss what they saw in their dreams. The Red Prince pinches the bridge of his nose in apparent irritation before turning his back on the jabbering dreamer. You receive a withering glance in response.
A deserved bit of sarcasm, I suppose. But though this sting-tailed fellow may be a less than stellar specimen in the firmament of dreamers, the dreams themselves prove to be quite elucidating. Turns out I'm being hunted by an enemy I didn't know actually existed. The myth-shrouded House of Shadows. The dreamers, though, they're on my side. And they've visions of me on the throne. Of course it is. I was born with the promise of an empire, and that promise will be kept. But to keep it, I must find a second dreamer. A greater one. A more experienced traveler of the dream world. Bahara is her name, and she resides in the swamplands east of the fort. So, let us make our escape and venture there post-haste.
You know, I could tell you all about swamp dreamers too if I chewed that much Drudenay.
Oh, do hold your prickly tongue.
Leave him be. Don't make me say it again.
Listen, I can help you if you just...
Shut up, elf. This clown, you caught him stealing from my kitchen. Still won't say where he stashed my supplies. Sound like someone you'd let off with a slap on the wrist. Supplies? crate of food, citrus in particular. He'll talk, or he'll die quiet. Ain't been here long, have ya? No one gets to have it all. No one starves anyone else.
He twirls his knife between his fingers.
Divine's gone. This blade is the only god watching over Fort Joy. Listen up. Back off.
Not like this. There's too many of them.
Alls I want is my supplies. Happy to let this clown die in a gutter instead of my kitchen. Bring back my crate, and you got yourself a deal.
An elf, caked in mud and blood, looks up at you from the bottom of the cage. He holds his shoulder at a strange angle. Despite his condition, he appears eager for your attention.
You believe what he says? That I am a thief? Perceptive. Like most men behind bars, I'm innocent. Like most of us here on the island, in fact. Aren't you like me, looking for a way out? Some people settle in. They don't go poking around in Griff's kitchen. They find a quiet place, wait their turn. Not you. Smart. In this case, I think we help each other. Griff tells you, does he not? I take his supplies, but I don't take what he thinks. I do not have his oranges. I do not even see them. I tell you what I know. But first, I want to make a trade. I know a way out. I show you. And you help me out of here. I cannot die in this cage. Finally, progress. Griff releases me if he sees I do not have what he misses. You must find who steals them. After I am free, you are free. I see no one. In fact, I only hear the sound of Griff clearing his throat. You know how he does? Like so. For some time, I think Griff takes his own supplies. But I see the anger in him that he does not find it. He truly does not find what he seeks. Griff is a powerful man. Power is mysterious. In case you haven't noticed. I intend no harm. I want only some provisions. A bit of bread, a potato or two. Nothing Griff should be loath to give. I need to escape, and I have people to consider. You understand? Thank you. And hurry. Please.
Psst. Hey! You're a little light in your pack, ain't you, mate? Who could blame you with the garbage they got for sale round here? Why don't you take a gander at the goodies I got? Stuff you won't find anywhere else in camp. Procured by special means. Fella in that cage is the thief. Stashed the oranges somewhere before he was caught. If you believe that. Sure do. Ask me. It'd have to be one of those sad sacks that's always hanging around Griff looking for favours.
She darts her tongue out of her mouth like a snake.
Some folks, and some reptiles, will do anything to get his attention. I see plenty of liars in my line of work. Snakes, weasels, worms. That fella's square as a pavestone. If he's the thief, I'll eat my boots. It's all in the eyes. Joy lives in the eyes, sometimes way in the back, but it's there all the same. Liars ain't a joyful bunch. Sure you don't want to have a look at my stock before you go? I was serious about what I said. Everything in my pack's been got by special means.
I know that look well enough. You're about to pop, ain't ya? Why don't you enter a match and let some of that frustration out the right way? You'll find out. Down the hatch, then.
Heading into the kitchen. Don't try anything funny around Griff. I'm watching you. Well, he runs this place and everyone in it, including you. Better to make yourself useful to him if you're stuck here anyway. That's what I did.
What's your hands, Pipsqueak? What are you loitering round here for? I got my good eye on you, bub. Make it quick. Hell if I know. Don't rightly know if it can be done. If they take the sauce out of you, what are you? Sure, pal of mine made it as far as the hollow marshes even. They dragged his corpse back the next day. Head pulled clean off by a ghost. I saw it myself. I never seen one myself, but me cousin up in Gore said one appeared from the clear sky one day and ate up every child under the age of 12. I don't know where they come from, but without the divine, there ain't much we can do to stop 'em. If Boss trusts you to find something for him, you better not disappoint him. You won't like him when he's disappointed. You mean that guy in the cage? Oh, I don't associate with elves. Fella says he's innocent, but you know how they lie. Yeah, Boss is awful passionate about citrus. I can't get enough of the stuff. Boss will be fine. He's got himself in a fit state now, but as soon as another shipment comes in, he'll be right as rain.
The lizard's brow knits together, then apart, and back again. He seems to be swimming deep in his thoughts, and doesn't look up as you approach.
The ground. I don't know what you... I'm just trying to work it out. What happened? Why? My mind? What else, my friend? I'm wondering why. All of this. Source, the Voidwoken, the Divine. Why? We've used Source for thousands of years. We have used it to heal, to grow. How can it be that it suddenly summons these horrors from the void? And when will Alexander ascend to divinity? We cannot continue like this.
The dwarf slaps his knees and chest until a buoyant rhythm develops and begins to, well, not sing exactly, but chant.
They stole me boots and burned me hat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. They locked me up with a pig and a rat, but beast of the sea will come asking for me. Oh, not bad for being off the top of me head.
He bows to an almost comical depth, then rises and laughs.
Welcome to the Joy, my famed friend.
Well, I wasn't feeling so welcome till now. You almost had me dancing. You get any more songs in you? This savage beast could use some soothing.
Well, I got a right good rebel whooper on hand, warning of the barbaric beast. The other, well, it ain't so respectful, but Royal Guards folk on holiday always ate it up.
Gotta admit, I'm tired of hearing the shanties all singing my praises. Let's hear the Royalist tune. I bet it dresses me down real good.
One Royalist tune coming up. Oh, Macca Smiles, bastard born, the man of life enraged him. A gnashing varmint he became, so Queen sought then to cage him. A pitiful sight, his inadequate fight, the quivering lump sent out of Queen's sight. Macca Smiles, bastard born, the royal knights upstaged him.
Ha! I knew there'd be some good lines in there. Quivering lump. Too funny to be mad at.
The Royal Guard. They'd sing this while wandering the hinterlands, looking for rebels in the shadows. It was some time ago, of course. Back when you were banished to the Isle of Mists.
Beast looks to the ground for a moment, but just a moment. His cheeks rise and redden, and he roars in laughter.
Those were the days, eh, chum? Well, I've got to get moving. Good to see a friendly face, though. Ain't too many wandering around this glum camp.
Please, excuse us.
You're talking to me, not him, Sam.
Oh, for the love of Lucian, Balladeer. You're acting like a madman.
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Go on. Piss off. Go on, Sam.
Well, it's the truth, and you know it. She's better off. So what if it was messy? I'd rather puke myself to death 1,000 times than let the Reds get to me. If she were my wife, I'd be happy for her.
A flat smile twitches across Balladeer's lips.
She never did like you.
The man looks for a moment at the corpse at his feet, then turns back toward the nearly finished coffin, bloodied hammer in hand.
Don't feel too bad. Fella had no decency. If you don't have that, you don't have anything to live for. Maybe they're onto something then. Maybe we do belong here.
He nods at you and turns back to his handiwork. He lines up another nail and hammers it into the panel.
Say, do all lizards smell like oranges, or is it just that crazy fellow with the pointy tail?
Huh? What? But I was... It was... Please, tell me. Tell me. Why did you wake me? I was so close, so close. So close to the dream. It's been so long. You wouldn't understand. Please, please leave me be. They don't call us dreamers for nothing, I'm afraid. My purpose is to dream, and for that I need to sleep. Now, if you'll excuse me. Oranges. Is that what he told you he's missing? Well, I suppose it's technically true. Though I'd guess Mr. Griff is more upset about the Drudenay than the citrus. The Drudenay Griff cleverly smuggles into the prison, of course, stuffed inside the oranges. You don't think he'd really be so mad over a little missing fruit, do you? No, it's not the oranges, but the dreams he's after. Same as I, though. I have the right, the responsibility. Drudenay, it makes you master of all you see when you sleep. The dreamer is not the play actor, but the playwright. It may be hard for you to understand, but my kind, we dream for the greater good. What we see can predict the truth, can even shape the truth. But we need Drudenay to do it. Before I was caught, before I was brought here, I saw a vision. The void woken, slain, divinity restored. But just as I was about to see how it happened, the Magisters beat down my door. This is my last chance to find out the secret, to find out how to save us all. So you see, I cannot give back the Drudenay, not only for myself, but for all of us. My dreams are my gift. They may be our salvation, too. Fine, take the Drudenay. I'll find more. Another way. Somehow, I have to. For all our sakes.
Amid the squalor of Fort Joy, you suddenly spot an elf with diamond features, regal and radiant, but cold too, and sharper than any knife. She was the one who sat rolling dice in the ship that went under, deciding fates with every roll, or so she said. Her eyes are focused on a lizard some distance away, and you get the distinct feeling he's an unfortunate man indeed to be trapped in her tiger-like gaze. No sooner have these words left your mouth than she turns about and grabs you in a stranglehold. You feel the tip of a long needle being pushed a little ways into your neck.
You caught me off guard. No one catches me off guard. Better tell me who you really are, or this time I'll let my needle do the licking. Not so very far from home, I'm sure. This is the turf of Magisters, and Magisters tend to be human, like you.
A push, a pivot, and now you suddenly face her. The needle still all too deeply embedded in the side of your throat. Despite the precariousness of your situation, you notice something that remained undetected in the gloom of the ship. A flaw in her diamond features. A curiously shaped scar on her left cheek.
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a bad old time, a lizard cut this thing, this living scar, into my cheek. The mark of a slave. But now I'm free, of sorts. And I've traced that lizard here, to Fort Joy. I intend to raise the subject with him.
She drives the needle in deeper and whispers.
In truth, it does not matter in the least who you really are. You saw me mark my prey. You could warn him, save him, or kill him before I get my chance. That makes you a liability. That makes you needle feed.
A bright sparkle of laughter follows your proposal.
Ha! How amusing. I admit I had not seen that twist coming. I was certain the pitiful begging was about to begin. Make your case and do it quickly. Why should I join you? Escape? How you do tickle me. Most of the misguided deers around here would argue such a thing is impossible. Well played. Oh, little needle mine, what should I do? Push or pull? The agony of choice. You know what? Today is a rather fine day. Sunshine and an easy breeze. Yes, I'll let you live. I'll even agree to travel with you, provided we talk to that lizard I mentioned. I'm not quite sure the weather will save him.
With a casual flick of the wrist, she withdraws the needle from your neck and smiles, as if she just invited you to sit down for tea.
Let's discuss our respective roles then, shall we? You, me, and Death will be playing many a round of hide and seek. So, what role would you like me to play? As a rogue, my speciality is stealth, the quick silence of the dagger striking unseen. That said, I'm perfectly lethal wielding any weapon or magic. So, the choice is yours. Suits me fine. Lead on, or better yet, let me take the lead. Then follow me.
You're not quite certain you'll ever sleep soundly with Sabine in any sort of proximity, but at least she's on your side, for the moment.
A moment's pause. I had thought us too wicked for rest. We may see no bars, but we are firmly behind them here and now. As I hunt for answers, escape must ever be on our minds. Let's save those for later, shall we? Not quite the thing I tend to share with strangers. Suffice to say, I need to speak with a certain lizard, so let's find him. Ha! Nonsense. We've already cheated death coming here. We have but to cheat the living to leave. Ha! Shouldn't be too hard, trust me. May require some needlework, though. In a final heartbeat. Why? Did you assume I wouldn't? The only thing that springs eternal is blood from gushing wounds. And water from springs, of course, and flowers from the ground, but you catch my drift. One must cull to cultivate. Huh, hardly. I walked up to the quay, asked for the ship to Fort Joy, and declared myself a sorcerer. I'm here to hunt, remember? Here to play a game of tic-tac-terminate with a special certain someone.
As you're about to approach the lizard, Sabine cups your chin between thumb and index finger, then guides your eyes to hers.
Listen, I need to have a chat with this here morsel of flesh. He has wronged me once, but may just do right by me this time.
To your surprise, Sabine proceeds to throttle the unsuspecting lizard with one hand as she drives the tip of her needle into his lower belly with the other. Then the questions commence. You hear him yelp about the master, lone wolves, and a man called Griff. Then, quite suddenly, there's blood everywhere as Stingtail falls to the ground, face first into his own intestines. Sabine heaves a sigh of satisfaction, and as she wipes her needle clean, shoots you a cursory look.
Chat's over.
Demon elf, how dare you strike down a dreamer?
Such is my prerogative, Prince. And doubly so, my pleasure. Something on your mind? It's simple. He scarred me, so I scarred him. Extensively.
She defies you with devilishly innocent eyes.
Can you blame me? Justice tends to be. Anyway, what's dead is done, so let's move on, shall we? Despite my high hopes, this scar disfigures me still. The search for the Master continues, of course. Hungry work, the hunt. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit peckish. Stingtail mentioned a cook, as it happens. Fellow named Griff. 2 birds, 1 stone. How about it?
Sibyl gently places a hand on the small of your bag. Her mouth reaches your ear with a whisper.
Let me have a word with the gentleman, would you? I've a little clue to follow up on.
Sibyl steps forward and asks Griff the cook about the lone wolves. A dead little birdie told her he's the man to talk to. A little back and forth ensues. Money crosses hands, and before you know it, Sibyl stands back beside you, all smiles.
Thank you. We should make good on our escape, you know. I have to see a man about a wolf in the hollow marshes. Naught but a whelp in skillful hands, I'm sure. Zalaskar's his name. A name for the taking, if it comes to that.
Griff glances from his blade to you and back again. Griff tears into one of the oranges with both hands. Juice squirts through his hands as he desperately rips through the rind.
Looks like everything's accounted for. Now the important question. Who's the thief?
He raises an eyebrow.
Looks like someone did my job for me. Your guy's free to go. He should be fine. Eventually.
It is done. And quickly. I thank you. Very, very much. I hold my end of the bargain. I show you the way out. But I have something more to ask of you. Sahela, a young girl here. I am her protector, and she is everything. A ruler, a seer, a knower, a child. She cannot be lost here. It is for all our people, for the world. Give me your map. I show you the way out. A secret, dangerous, but it leads to freedom.
I give you this amulet. You must pass it to the elves who still remain. Tell them Sahela is here. They will send help. Please. She is important.
I go to her. I wish you good luck, and I thank you for us all.
As you approach the blacksmith, you feel a bony hand on your arm. Fane leans in and whispers in your ear.
If it would be acceptable, I have an inquiry for this human. It is of a personal nature. And if it would not be acceptable, well, that would render this entire conversation rather awkward.
Fane approaches the blacksmith and quietly speaks to her. You can't overhear much, but he seems to be gesturing towards her head an awful lot. Fane's words are quiet, but you hear the blacksmith repeat, "Face ripper," in shock. She slowly starts to back away.
What is it with creeps like you and Master Niles? I told him to slither back to his dungeon, and you can get too, freak!
Fane backs away, scratching his head. It seems that didn't go as he'd expected. He is lost in thought, though. She must have said something he found interesting. Amidst a crowd of screws, bolts, and scraps of metal, the woman is manipulating a glove-like contraption fitted with 5 long metal skewers. She doesn't look up as you approach.
And what you after? I ain't. Just seeing how it's made. She's clever, Dallas. Made these herself, for those bodyguards of hers. Boy, they're sharp.
She looks up.
You looking to buy something? Found it in the scrap heap not so long ago. We used to know each other back in the day, you know. Dallas and I. Never knew her to be much of a wrench head back in the day, but once she joined the Order, she started turning out all manner of oddities.
She nods once.
You looking to buy something? Or do you just want to waste my time with a whole lot of questions? For you? Hell no. That's for me to know, and you to get out of my face. Buy or shove off. All manner of things. Have a look.
As you approach the unsmiling Magister, Ifan catches your arm and speaks to you with some urgency.
I need to talk to this one for a few moments. Alone.
Ifan strides up to the Magister, speaking in a calm and controlled voice. Though you can't hear what he whispers, the Magister's face turns whiter than snow as he hands a note to Ifan with shaking hands.
Don't! I'll give you the information. Here, just don't! All right.
Ifan walks back to you, leaving the quivering wreck of a Magister behind. When he catches your eye, he winks. Ifan catches you looking over at him. He raises his eyebrows.
What?
He barks a laugh, then shakes his head sheepishly.
I wanted some information. That Magister wanted to negotiate. I negotiated. Oh, it's just practice. All in the way you set your jaw, lad. I'll teach you someday. I only do it when it's necessary. And it was necessary back there. He wanted me to kill someone. I didn't want to kill them. Being a little impolite seemed the least bad option. That's about the size of it for me, all right. And now that we agree, shall we agree to keep moving?
After reading the scrap of paper he took from the Magister, Ifan marks a spot on your map and looks out to the far horizon.